Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse. Back in February, my favorite vinyl soundtrack label, Varèse Sarabande, announced in a joint venture with Craft Recordings a new sub-label called Real Cult, which they described as a soundtrack revival series for cinephiles, crate diggers, and nostalgia nomads alike. Resurrected from the depths of bygone video stores and midnight repertory theaters, Real Cult resurfaces the wildest B-movie soundtracks, cult classic creature features, blaxploitation cinema, Wild West revenge sagas, and spine-tingling horror flicks that never stopped spinning in your head. So basically, Varèse Sarabande and Craft Recordings are combining two of my favorite loves, exploitation movies and vinyl soundtracks, all into one awesome entity. So obviously, enterprising young man that I am, I had to get in touch with them and let them know how awesome this all is. And they were kind enough to send me copies for review of their first two releases, which came out back in April on Record Store Day. They are Ennio Morricone score for the 1977 killer whale movie Orca, and the funky score for 1972's obscure blaxploitation movie Black Girl. So what I'll do is show both of them to you in details, letting you know where to get them. I'm also asking myself if there's even a demand for them, and finally letting you know about the next two releases coming out this upcoming RSD Black Friday on November 29th. Alright, so without further ado, let me show them to you. I'll start with 1972's Black Girl, which was directed by Ossie Davis and starring Peggy Petite, Leslie Uggam, Ruby Dee, and Brock Peters. It's about a teenage girl who strives to follow her dream of becoming a dancer and escape the fate of her sisters, both of who dropped out of high school after becoming pregnant. It's been cited as being a blaxploitation movie, but I think it's more of a drama with a black cast. It's just that the movie came out at the start of the blaxploitation era, so it just got lumped into it. Not having seen it myself, I can't tell you much about it, but it is on YouTube, and I'll link it up in the description below. As for the soundtrack itself, it's a blend of soul jazz grooves and funky licks. The music is done by Ed Bogus and Ray Shanklin, who also did the music for Fritz the Cat and Heavy Traffic. Its one and only release on vinyl was back in 1973 on Fantasy Records, where a VG+ copy on Discog go for close to $100. So it was a pretty rare and pricey vinyl soundtracks to have in your collection. It did have a UK CD release back in 2010, but we're talking vinyl here, so that's where Real Cult came in. They remastered it from the original analog tapes, pressed on 180-gram clear black swirl colored vinyl. The sleeve is a tip-on jacket with an OB strip. They only pressed 1,500 copies, and this was an RSD first release, meaning it might get a wider release later on, or just have this pressing only. And I'll talk about that later on. As for the music itself, mostly instrumental cues. There's a few songs as well. My favorite being I Am Your Mailman by Roger Collins.
I am your mailman. Hey, you gonna get your mail. You gonna get your mail.
There's some sweet sax, lots of 70s organ piano, straight up jazz cues. There's a gospel song. It's a mishmash of a lot of different black music, definitely a bit more eclectic than other blaxploitation soundtracks I own. Alright, now on to the Killer Whale movie. Because of the success and game changer that was Jaws, of course so many copycat movies was getting released right after, creating its own horror subgenre in the process, when animal attacks or run amok movies. Think of Joe Dante's Piranha, Great White Shark, Tentacles, and 1977 Orca, starring Richard Harris, Charlotte Rampling, Bo Derek, Keenan Ween, and Robert Carradine. It's basically about a male orca tracking down and getting revenge on a fishing boat and its captain for killing the whale's pregnant mate and their unborn calf, which of course they are totally known to do just that, go on a vengeful killing rampage.
What in hell are you?
Man and Orca.
This was a great paycheck movie for them all, I'm sure, but they also got the maestro Ennio Morricone to do the score, which, let's be real here, is the best thing from the movie. Its only vinyl pressing before this was back in 1977 on the Japanese label Tam Records. Then it had an Italian CD release in 1993 and another one in France 7 years ago. So this is the first time that it's available on vinyl here in North America. Like the Black Girl vinyl, this too was an RSD first release with a pressing of only 1,700 copies. It's been remastered from the original analog tapes, pressed on 180 gram blood in the water colored vinyl. The sleeve is a tip-on jacket with an OB strip, and you get a fold-out poster you can hang on your living room wall for all your friends and family to see and admire. And on the back of it, credits and liner notes from journalist Daniel Schweiger, where you'll get a very detailed critique of each score cues. At only 32 minutes, it contains very dramatic and somber music. The standout track for me is The Attack and the Mistake, with those creepy screeching violins. And the Orca finale, which has to be in my top 10 from all the thousands of cues the maestro composed in his lifetime. By the way, both vinyls sound dead flat. No pops and glitches to be detected at all. It's a beautiful release all around, and I got to add another Morricone score in my collection, which stands now at about 22. So what, only about 375 more to go? So that was from the last record store day. What's coming up for this RSD Black Friday? They have two new releases as well. One is for one of my favorite blaxploitation movies, 1974's Truck Turner, starring Isaac Hayes, who obviously did the score as well. It will surely be a nice upgrade to the OG copy I own from Enterprise Records. And it's limited to 3,100 copies worldwide. And then we have Angelo Badalamenti, a music for film and television, which had a CD release on Varèse back in 2010, and this will be the first time on vinyl. It showcases key highlights from his choreography, a good part of it from his collaboration with David Lynch. So you got cues from Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, Mulholland Drive, The Straight Story, and Twin Peaks. And some other non-David Lynch movies like The City of Lost Children and A Very Long Engagement. It's limited to 2,800 copies worldwide. So both of them will be available in record stores on RSD Black Friday, November 29th. I'll go more in depth with those new releases when I get them in my hands. I want to say though that I'm already very pleased with the work they've done on both the Black Girl and Orca soundtracks. I really hope this sub-label lasts for quite a while, because there's so many exploitation movies in need of their soundtracks to be properly released on vinyl. The question is though, is there a demand for it? Will they be able to sustain it for the long haul? If you look at the Discogs release pages, only 220 users added Black Girl to their collection versus 282 for Orca. Obviously, Discogs is not the be-all and end-all when it comes to tallying up the actual sales numbers, as not every vinyl collector is a user, but I feel it should be a bit higher. Is it because it's a bit harder to get your hands on them? That's why I'm talking about this, because both were RSD first releases, meaning you could have got a wider release, or at least a few months after RSD make them both available online through the Varèse Sarabande website. And believe you me, I have asked a few times if that's ever going to happen, them being on their website, and I never got a response. So your best bet for now is to find them in your local record store if they're still in stock, or through Discogs, which does have reasonable prices for both. But regardless of all that, I am excited for what they got coming up next, and maybe we'll get more than 4 releases a year. Wouldn't that be nice? So alright, that is it for my Varèse Sarabande Real Cult Orca and Black Girl vinyl soundtracks unboxing / review. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up so I can get more visibility out there. Subscribe if you haven't, that does help too. By the way, I run the Varèse Sarabande Vinyl Soundtracks Collectors Discuss / Buy / Sell / Exchange group, where we specifically talk about all things Varèse Sarabande soundtrack vinyls. We're 700 members strong as of the filming of this video, so join us, won't you? The link will be in the description below. Also, leave a comment letting me know what are your favorite Varèse Sarabande releases on vinyl, and what would you want Real Cult to release next? There's a good chance they might read your comments, so go nuts. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.